act, which is very scary. So after that, we went on the processes of investigation of Wando, and they went to court. At the first instance, when they went to court, the court did not grant approval for their request because the judge ruled that he does not have the jurisdictions over the matter. I referred them to Investment and Securities Tribunal. Later, the Honorable Minister invited me in the morning in company of the Permanent Secretary and asked me that I should leave the suspension, technical suspension placed on Owando. The Permanent Secretary was in attendance. It was actually on Friday. And I tried to reason with her why it wasn't necessary to leave the technical suspension. But she told me that it was important to do that. And we went on to discussions up to around 1:30. Myself and the Permanent Secretary went to the mosque. I remember that the Permanent Secretary even jokingly told me that given the situation I'm in, that I should even try and do a strong prayer, which I said I would. So I left. Then later, around 3-4 o'clock, another meeting was convened with the Minister, the Permanent Secretary, the Director Legal, and some staff of SEC, particularly the team that did the investigation. Mr. Frank Owl, Tarfa, SK Abusalam, we all had the meeting. And the Minister went through all the allegations, one by one. And Tarfa, who did the extensive work
Which of the allegations?
The findings from the committee, the findings. And we discussed extensively with her, sought for certain clarifications, which the committee provided. And the Minister said, well, yeah, even though he didn't carry us along, but we have no option than to support you. So we left after that to support SEC.
In what you are doing?
Yes, what we're doing. She said, yes, even though, and other staff of SEC were also at the meeting, like I mentioned. And she said, yes, even though you didn't carry us along, but we have no option than to support you. So we went ahead, but because the case was in court, so we couldn't do anything. But meanwhile, we had already given appointment letters to those forensic auditors. Then later, when the case was thrown out, another meeting was convened because the case was thrown out sometimes on Thursday. Then we held a meeting on Friday under the leadership of the Permanent Secretary. And he told us that it was the minister that was supposed to chair the meeting, but she had an engagement in Lagos, so she couldn't attend. At the meeting, Mr. Christopher Gabriel was in attendance. The Director Legal, Mr. Shombola, the Director Home Finance, was also in attendance. And we discussed extensively, particularly on what is the way forward in the event that they go to court. What would SEC do? And we told them clearly that these guys are clearly not interested and they will do anything they could to frustrate the process. So the meeting concluded that SEC should continue with its investigation. That was on Friday. And the PAMSEC promised us that he will convey the decision to the Honorable Minister. On Sunday, around 5 p.m., the Permanent Secretary called me on the phone and told me that he had discussed with the Honorable Minister, and the Honorable Minister has supported the decision of SEC that we should continue with the investigation at 5 p.m. on Sunday. I said, that's fine. And he also told me that other things that we discussed, he has also discussed with her. Then on Monday, around 11:30 a.m., we now issue a letter to Owando, telling them that we're going to continue with the investigation and also copy all the investigators. And all the letters went. Then, around 5 p.m., Bridget, the personal assistant or personal secretary to the Honorable Minister, said the Honorable Minister has just come in and she would want me to come. And I went to the ministry, and I went to the office. As I entered the office, I saw the Permanent Secretary sitting on the right-hand side of the minister. And she said I should sit on the left-hand side, which I did. And she said, DG, I want this Owando issue to be concluded. And I said, that's fine, Honorable Minister. And I swear to God, the minister said I should stop the forensic audit on Owando. And I should constitute a committee comprising the head of legal of SEC, head of legal of Ministry of Finance, and head of legal of Owando. But quickly she said, Mofe should not be in that committee, and that you should compute penalties, and the top management of Owando should now pay that penalty. And she made reference to the MTN issue, and she said in the MTN case, that was exactly what happened. And she looked at me and said, we're giving you these directives as your board. And I say, okay, if you're giving me this directive as my board, I want it to be committed to writing, because everything the board does has to be put in writing. And she said no. She said when the president gave her the approval, she didn't ask him to put it in writing. And my understanding is when President Muhammadu Buhari gave her the approval to stop the forensic audit of Owando, he did not commit it in writing, because she said when the president...
Hello, that is your assumption.
Yes, that's what I said.
That is your assumption.
Because she said when the president gave me the approval, I didn't tell him to put it in writing. And I said, well, for me, since you are asking as a board, I want it to be committed to writing. She now said, okay, you have two options. It's either you resign or you be suspended. And went on to remind me of the allegations against me. The permanent secretary, Dr. Mahmoud Issa Dutse, was in attendance from the beginning up to the end. And I told her that, yes, I know there are allegations against me, and I have responded to those allegations, and I'm ready anytime to defend myself on those allegations. And she said, no. She said, your case is similar to that of Babachir, the former secretary to the government, which means the minister has already pronounced me guilty. I swear to God, that's what she said. Then she now said I should now put it in writing how I want her to communicate that directives to me. I said, okay. As I stood up and I said, I will now call my head of legal so that we can draft it and bring it. She said, no, come back. She said I should sit down. And she asked for Mr. Christopher Gabriel, the director of legal, and he's here. And he came, he sat down, and she said I should dictate to him what I said I wanted. And I dictated to him. And Mr. Gabriel looked at the minister and said, Minister, it's good that we carry the DG along. Mr. Gabriel is here. I should be put on oath to also testify what I'm saying. And she said, but he has been very stubborn. I have told him to do it. He has refused to do it. So the discussion went on. And after some time, she said I should go. As I left the office, as I was leaving,